We met at Glenwood. We were in the same ward at BYU. And the first time we met was...
We debate this, actually. I thought we met at a ward activity. I just remember thinking she was so cute and fun, and I had to talk to her, and I think she would say that we met at some game night.
My roommates and I planned a game night, and we invited him and his roommates to come, but I hadn't met him yet. And Colin came in and he sat in the corner, and I didn't really know who he was. And then we were just playing this game, and then all of a sudden he won. And I was like, who's this kid?
My first impression, she thought she was fun.
I was like, okay, he's really smart. Like, that was my first impression of him, was like, oh, he's super smart. But I think the thing I noticed the most was his smile. He had like a really cute smile.
She was really involved in the game night and that activity at the park. She was getting into it, and I thought she was fun and cute.
So we first became friends in October, but our first kiss was in November after Thanksgiving, and we went to my work conference room.
In the conference room. Yeah.
And we were just talking, and we decided that we wanted to date and be boyfriend and girlfriend. And then it was like 2 seconds after we made it official, he just went in for a kiss, and I was like, whoa, wait, what are you doing? And he's like, well, like, I'm gonna kiss you, so hopefully that's not a problem. And I said, no, well, it's not, but I just want it to be cute, like in the snow or something.
And like, it's October, there's no snow.
Like a surprise, and he's like, oh, okay, a surprise, I get it. And so I was like, oh, okay, he gets it, okay.
I didn't know what that meant. I was just like, I don't know, I want to kiss you, so.
So I go back to my homework.
So I like waited a few minutes, and then
he swung my chair around and just like went for it.
Just went for it.
I was like so surprised, and then he's like, surprise!
And she thought that was kind of weird, but I liked it.
And I was just like, oh no. But yeah, that was our first kiss.
I remember writing in my journal that night. I've looked back and read it. It said, I'm like, I can't believe it. I have a girlfriend and her name is Julia Snow. I was like freaking out, pretty excited.
Our first breakup.
Oh man, our first breakup.
Since we had many. Our first breakup was in December.
So it was after the mission age change.
So I'd already decided I want to serve a mission. I was putting my mission papers in.
I was really excited that she wanted to go. I thought that'd be a good experience for her. But obviously it was a little difficult because I liked her and I knew I'd have to say goodbye and didn't know what was going to happen.
And I was just feeling really conflicted.
So we went for a walk. We're walking around the Glenwood parking lot. It's like freezing cold. It's like super icy and dark, kind of setting the stage.
I really liked Colin, but at the same time, I wanted to be able to focus on being a missionary.
She was like, I talked to the bishop. I was like, oh, yeah, how'd that go? She's like, yeah, he said it's great that I want to serve a mission and that I shouldn't date anyone, seriously.
And I decided that I needed to break up with
I
him.
was like, thanks for dating me. And that was it. And she was like, are you mad? I was like, no. I'm like dying inside a little bit.
And it was super hard and sad.
It was a hard night. Yeah. I cried that night. And then Mikael had to come in and like rub my back and tell me life was gonna be okay.
But I felt like that was what I needed to do. But that didn't last for very long.
So the months leading up to her mission were interesting.
The months leading up to the mission were pretty stressful. So I broke up with him in December, and then January I was like feeling really jealous. Like when I'd see him talk to other girls at the ward, I'd even stalk him on dates. And so I realized that I still had feelings for him and I liked him a lot.
So we got back together. I can't remember if it was like a few weeks or a month later.
But it wasn't super official. Like no one in the ward knew, but it was kind of, we still liked each other.
Sometimes I was like, does she like me? I don't know, so I went back and forth, but I could tell she liked me.
I just feel like it was just this back and forth craziness right before I left.
So I was like conflicted inside. I'm like, oh, I like her, I really like her, but should I waste my time with her because she's just leaving? And is it worth it? So yeah, I was conflicted, and that's sort of how the months went.
But I think the month before I left was really good. We would go on dates, it was super fun.
When she left, she said, Colin, I think you just need to date around while I'm gone. You need to date other people. And at first when I heard that, I was a little sad. I was like, come on, like, you don't like me that much? You're not sure I need to date around? But I was a little prideful. I was just kind of like, fine, I will.
In the MTC, we wrote every week pretty consistently. But once I got out into the field, I just really felt like I just needed to focus. I kind of wrote him and said, hey, the occasional letter is okay, but not every week.
I met some other girls and we dated, got to know some different people, and it ended up being a good experience. Learned a lot more about dating.
But the last 4 months of my mission, I started like thinking about coming home and just really hoping that he wasn't dating anyone, which he was, and I was so heartbroken when I heard that.
Throughout all those other relationships and friendships, Julie was always in the back of my mind. I was always thinking about her.
But the last 4 months, I think we were emailing every week.
I ended up even asking her on our first date back the last week of her mission. I was like, I don't know, I better make sure I'm the first guy to take her out. So right before Julie got home, what was going through my head? I was a lot of emotions.
It was awkward seeing each other for the first time when I got back because we were so nervous.
I walk in there and she's just standing in the living room, and my first thought was, she looks, awesome. She looks so pretty. I'd forgotten, how beautiful she was, and I don't know, I felt something inside kind of well up, like, oh my gosh, like, I'm so happy to see her, and it feels so good. But then, right after that too, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous though.
We were giving each other our Christmas gifts, and we were just shaking. Literally, our hands are like...
My hand's like kind of trembling a little bit. I'm like, here.
Merry Christmas. And it was kind of funny. Like, I almost wish we had filmed that moment. We went on a date 2 days after I got back, so I was awkward. I was this awkward RM that didn't know what I was doing or feeling or anything. But the whole time, both of us are just like, oh, what is the other person feeling, So it was awkward, but it was surprisingly, I felt really comfortable, which really surprised me.
But overall, it was a good date. Yeah, it was good. Nervous going in, but it was good to see her. And I realized that, my feelings were still there.
After a week of being home, I knew I wanted to date him. I just knew it.
And I was a little bit nervous. I was like, oh, are we just gonna jump into it right now? After just a couple weeks, I'm like, I really got back,
He still wasn't ready yet, so that was really frustrating for me. I even made my roommate write a rap about how frustrated I was.
So I kind of was putting it off a little bit for a while, and then she didn't like that. I think that was when she gave me the silent treatment. I
call it the freeze. I put on the freeze, and I didn't text him for a week because I was just like, fine, if he wants me to move on, I'll move on. But really, I wasn't. I just really wanted him to text me, and he did.
And that worked really well, actually. And then after that, I realized, I want to date you. And we started dating after that week.
So we got back together in February, beginning of February.
Who said I love you first? This is an interesting debate.
I definitely was the first one to say I love you. I was kind of waiting for him to say it because I didn't want to be the first one. But finally on Valentine's Day, I wrote him a card.
She gave me this, card, and it had all these Japanese things. I'm like, all right, so what does this say? And we got to this one part, and I was like, what does this say?
And I was like, oh, just something really nice. And he was like, I know that kanji, it means love. Does it say I love you?
She was like, yes.
And he was like, well, I love you too. So he was the first one in English. I was the first one technically, but he said it first in English.
That was so awesome. Probably the best Valentine's Day I've ever had in my life.
So after we started dating again in February, we started talking about marriage. And then March came and we went ring shopping, which was really awkward because I was super ready. I was so excited. I was like, we're going ring shopping.
I was a little nervous. I was like, oh man, is this really happening? We're going ring shopping. And so she could tell I was a little nervous.
He was not ready at all, I could tell. So it was kind of awkward. We laugh about it now, but so we dated until May.
I kind of let my nerves get the better of me, and we ended up breaking up. I ended up breaking up with her.
And that was really sad.
The week though after we broke up, oh my gosh, it was so hard. I didn't know what to think. I had trouble eating, you know, it was a hard week.
That was like the breakup of the century. I was way sad. I was even pouring my cereal one day and I just started crying. But there was like a Finding Nemo spoon that came out of my cereal box, and that was like the happiest I'd been for like a week.
But time went on and she, you know, started hanging out with other people. But I think like 3 weeks after we broken up, and I was like starting to come around, like, oh my gosh, I made the biggest mistake of my life.
I knew he was going to Boston for the summer for work, and so I wasn't sure what I wanted to do exactly. I felt kind of like maybe it would be a good idea just to take a break, go on dates with other people just to make sure that it was right.
But we left it that I would go to Boston and we would talk and, you know, we'd kind of play it cool and sort of see what happened.
And so that's kind of what we did.
Boston was amazing, you know. I missed her though.
He left for Boston and I went on dates.
And there were a few times where she was like, oh, I can't talk. I gotta, you know, my roommates and I are going to go watch a movie or do this. I knew it wasn't just her and her roommates. It was some date or with some other guy. But, you know, what are you gonna do? I was like, well, I deserve this.
After a few weeks of going on dates with other people and him calling me, and we Skyped a lot while he was in Boston.
I think it was, you know, 2 or 3 weeks into Boston, I was like, come to Boston.
He flew me out there, and it only took me about 30 seconds after seeing him before I was like, okay, yeah, for sure, I want to marry him.
At Boston, we had a few deep conversations. I remember it was actually the day she got there. You know, I was like, oh, I'm so happy to see you, I'm so excited. And I was like, I want to date you again.
And I said, well, I don't want to break up ever again. So if we get back together again, like, this is it. We're going to get married.
And she was like, you'd pretty much have to know that you want to marry me. And I was like, I do. And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah, I do.
And so we sat down and we called the temple and set the date, and so that was exciting. I think both of us at that time were finally ready.
It all worked out. Anyway, so then I spent 3 more weeks in Boston, came back, and man, that reunion was great.
And a few weeks after that, he proposed.
It was surreal, but like, it was finally happening. You know, after 3 years, I was like, yes, finally.
I'm so excited to marry Colin. He's amazing. He is so smart, so sweet, so spiritual, so talented.
So at the end of my mission president gives this training. And at the end of the training, he talks about finances, he talks about school, choosing a job, and he talks about choosing a spouse. I was thinking about Julia after I'd been dating her in terms of what he said about what you should look for in a spouse, and she fit it.
Just everything I've ever wanted, he is it.
We always joke about who's the luckier one. I'm the luckier one, for sure. If I was speaking to Julia directly, I would say that I'm so excited to marry you.
I love him so much, and I'm so excited to finally get married after 4 months. It's only been 4 months, so it feels like a long time. But yeah, I'm excited. I love him.